Hello and welcome to the sixth lesson in Unit 2. Today we're talking about graphing by factoring. So again, topic is pretty self-explanatory. Your goal is I can take an equation in standard form, factor it, and then graph from the factored form. So graphing by factoring, pros and cons. Pros, again, similar to yesterday, we know the x-intercepts. Okay, we're going to know what our x-intercepts right away are. The con, we need to find the vertex. All right, so that's where the bulk of the work is today. Find the vertex. So let's talk about the process below. So what is our process? Fairly straightforward. It'll look a little funky here because you don't have an example. I'm going to do examples on the next page. But number one, everyone should be comfortable with at this point in time. We need to factor function. So that means that we will need the equation in the following form. We have to have it in x minus a, x minus b form. So we got to find those x-intercepts. Step two, remember with a parabola, I'm going to sketch it over here so we have a picture. Okay, so there's our parabola. Remember the parabola is symmetrical. Okay, so that means that we can cut it in half. If you folded it on my red line that I drew right here, then it would overlap each other. It's symmetrical. Now, due to symmetry, that means the distance from the axis of symmetry to our x-intercept is going to be equal on both sides. Okay, so that means that our axis of symmetry is located in the middle of our x-intercepts. So step two is find the axis of symmetry. Now some of you are going to be able to look at it and say, okay, middle is 3. Some of us not so easy. So to find this, the axis of symmetry is equal to your first x-intercept plus your second x-intercept. Oops. Oh, I'm deleting everything. Okay, plus your second x-intercept divided by 2. And again, I'll show you an example. So that will find us the red line. It will find us the axis of symmetry. Our vertex is located on the axis of symmetry. So it's third and final step. We will plug our axis of symmetry value, which is our x value, into the equation or into function to find y value. So basically we are finding the vertex. That's essentially what we are doing. Find vertex. And our fourth step then is to graph. So what we'll end up with is 3 points in total. Okay, we'll end up with our 2 x-intercepts, and we'll end up with our vertex. And that's plenty of information to sketch a parabola. Okay, so there's our 4 steps. Now let's take a look at a couple of examples as to how this will work. So I have 2 examples for factoring. All right, and again, here's the decimal or the fraction in there. I wanted to make sure everyone has practice with it over and over again. So first thing you do, if you have a fraction, factor it out. Let's factor it out. So 0.5 leaves me with x squared. And when you divide out a 0.5, that's like doubling everything. So this will become minus 12x, and this will become plus 32. Now once I've done that, you'll notice that this is a simple trinomial inside. There's a 1. So that means that I can now draw my 2 empty brackets and figure out what goes in here with the x's. So I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply to 32. So multiply to 32 and add to negative 12. So 32 is 1 times 32, 2 times 16, 3 does not work, 4 times 8. And then there would be some people that go, hey, wait a minute there, 4 and 8, that works for us. So it means we will have minus 4 and minus 8 because it has to add up to negative 12. All right. So that means our x-intercepts are located at 4, 0 and 8, 0. Okay, so this is technically, and I'll put a 1 beside it, this is step 1. All right, we have gone ahead and we have factored it and found our x-intercepts. I'm going to plot those points. So we have 4, 0, and we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. All right. Now we need to find the axis of symmetry. So step 2, axis of symmetry. Oops. So axis of symmetry is located in the middle. Now, again, most people, you can use your formula. In this case, it's not so bad. Everyone should be okay with this. The axis of symmetry is located right in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, right? So if we go into the middle here, it would be right here. And for the example purpose, let's try to draw a straight line this time. Okay, there's our axis of symmetry. It's between our 2 points. So that means our axis of symmetry is located at x equals 6. So there's step 2 taken care of. Now I'm kind of running out of room here. So let you find some space. I'm going to do it over on the side here, or inside the graph, I guess. So stage 3, I'm going to do in here. You probably have a little bit more space with the border. Apologize for crunching this in. I'm going to take my factored form to plug this in. It doesn't matter which equation you use. So you can pick which one you're quicker with. You can plug it back into this equation, or you can plug it back into this equation. It does not matter, especially if you're using script calculator anyway. It's going to just, it'll spit it out regardless. So I'm going to pick the factored form for, hey, that's supposed to be a 3, step 3. So y equals 0.5. So I have x minus 4, x minus 8. I'm going to draw a small in here so it doesn't go too much on my graph. 0.5. My x value, again, that comes from your axis of symmetry. 6 take away 4, 6 take away 8. So 0.5. That's going to be a 2. That's going to be a negative 2. So multiplying that together, negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Half that's negative 2. So therefore, the vertex is located at 6, negative 2. So we've located the vertex. So 6, negative 2, we put it right there. I have 3 points, and that's sufficient for us for graphing a parabola. So there is the process on how to graph a parabola from factored form. All right. Next example, last example actually. So we got to factor this. Of course, I pick a complex one to factor, so we do need to use the method that you're comfortable with for factoring this. So I'm going to create my brackets, and underneath I'm going to use my X pattern. You use whatever you're comfortable with, whatever method makes more sense to you. For mine, I put my factors on for the first number, for the 6, I'm going to go 3 and 2 to start with. And with this one, 3 times 1, I'll try it. And I know it has to add, oops, sorry about that, it has to add to negative 7. So for my method again, I go across for multiplying. So 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 1 is 2. Can I make 9 and 2 add up to negative 7? The answer is yes. A negative 9, positive 2. That means that 3 is negative. That 1 is a positive. Then from there, oops, my factors are, that go into the bracket, are along the x. So the first one would be 3x plus 1. The other one is going to be 2x minus 3. All right. So go up a little bit here. So this is stage 1. This is the factoring. So my x-intercepts are going to be located at, the first one will be negative 1/3. So this is going back to solving your bracket, which we've done. And 3 halves 0. Okay, so there's stage one. We've got our x-intercepts. And of course, you're going to have to graph that. It's not going to be super accurate. We're only coming up with a sketch here. 3/2, that's 1.5. So there is my parabola right there in tight. Okay. Second one, we have to find that axis of symmetry. So axis of symmetry, and here's an example where I'm going to use my formula. So it's going to be my first x-intercept, 1/3, plus my second x-intercept, 3/2, divided by 2. And at this point, you're more than welcome to use a calculator. And my calculator spits out approximately, I'm rounding now, 0.6, because it doesn't matter at this point exactly. You're going to be able to sketch it in, but it is going to be at 0.6. So let's go carefully as I can. So there's my axis of symmetry. What I really should have done is maybe made the grid larger, so each square is worth 1/2 instead of 1, but I've already got it started, so I'm going to leave it as is. So there's my axis of symmetry. So I know my vertex is along that line. Final step then, find the value of the vertex. And again, you can use whichever form of the equation you want. In this case, there's no real advantage over any of them. I'm going to have to use my calculator to figure this out anyway. So 3 times 0.6 plus 1, 2 times 0.6 minus 3. I'll plug that into my calculator, and my calculator spits out -5. So therefore, the vertex is going to be located at approximately 0.6 and -5. So that means the vertex on the red line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is right about here. So it's going to be a really skinny parabola, but that kind of makes sense, because if we look at the leading coefficient back here, okay, I'm circling in blue on the left, it's a factor of 6. Your A value is 6. So we've got a really strong stretch on, making that resulting parabola really skinny. Okay, so there we go with the factored form. The only thing that makes this complicated, again, is if we have this right here, complex factoring. Okay, when the A value is not equal to 1, that does make it more of a challenge. I recognize that. A little bit easier when you have a simple trinomial, then it factors and makes the x-intercepts a little easier to appear. So again, I'm reviewing factoring skills, and then we're taking it one step further, and we're figuring out how to graph from there. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and we'll get them cleared up in class. Good luck with the homework.